Hi guys, Obi Dave here.
Africanash.
Together we are Obi Dave and Africanash.
The most original channel there is.
Absolutely, we've done the Takis Fuego challenge 2 years after everyone else did it. I mean, we didn't know each other at the time everyone was doing that, so it would have been hard.
And what is it to say that just because it happened, you know, it was trending a few years ago, it doesn't mean that you can't do it. It's not like it's a rule. When
we started Office Blokes Reaction channel, people have been saying for at least 2 years the reaction channels were dead.
Oh yeah,
and
now look.
So, you know, we don't have to be the most original.
Exactly, there's no rules.
Does not matter.
No.
What are we doing today?
So today is an exciting day because I've ordered a whole bunch of some Zimbabwean snacks.
You're Zimbabwean?
I am Zimbabwean.
Really?
Born and raised. So, I tried...
Which part of Australia is Zimbabwe?
Don't be like that. I'm African. I am from Zimbabwe, Africa.
Africanash.
So we border with South Africa, so we're near Southern Africa. So a lot of these foods are actually South African, but they were very popular back home.
So this is stuff you grew up with?
This is stuff I grew up with.
Yeah.
So a few of them we're going to have to cook, so that'll be in our dinner in a later video. And a couple of them are just trying. I couldn't get everything I liked, but I got some of the major ones that I used to absolutely adore as a kid. And then if I can get any more in the future, I would like you to try them.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's a completely different sort of side of things. So before we get into the snacks and things and your palate is all right, I wanted to introduce you to our cordial back home. So this is a Zimbabwean product, I believe. Should be a Zimbabwean product. I would say, yeah. Yeah, it's by Zimbabwe Limited. Okay. So this was my favourite cordial growing up. They do different versions. They do like a mango and they do a cherry plum and stuff. Mango nani. But when I first moved to this country and I tried your guys' cordial, so cordial's like, so obviously you put a little bit of juice in and then the water, because they don't have it in Australia. It took me ages to try and find it, so not every country does cordial.
I know, I think in the States they just call it juice, don't they?
Yeah.
So maybe, did they have it in Oz, but it was just under a different name?
Different name, so I had to search everywhere for it, yeah. And most of them were fresh ones that you didn't mix, you just bought the bottle.
Yeah.
But anyway, so this was hugely popular. It's called Mazoe Orange. That's the bottle there. And it is the best. And even when I moved over here, and the first time I had some of the cordial here, I was like, what is wrong with the cordial here? I don't know what it is, but there's a big difference. So I would like you to try some. So I prepared a nice little glass of Mazoe Orange.
Here's one you prepared earlier.
Yes.
Smells weak. You like your cordial weak though.
I know. I can put more in if you can't taste it, but I think that that's...
Just don't really taste like anything. Just been...
I'll put some more in because I do like mine really weak.
Are Africans quite stingy with the amount of cordial?
Yes, of course we are. But you know what? We used to put this in Coca-Cola and it makes the Coca-Cola taste really nice. Try again. I think it tastes better than the cordial does over here.
It's like, it's made water taste slightly more interesting. It don't taste like anything.
You want me to put more in? I can put more in. It just seems silly to put so much in.
That's more like it.
Okay.
Quite nice actually.
It is, isn't it?
When you put enough in there.
Alright, I like flavoured water. That's basically how I make my juice.
That's alright.
It's nice, isn't it?
It tastes like it may have real fruit in it.
Exactly! What is wrong with the stuff in this country? It tastes so artificial and leaves that weird aftertaste.
You know what one of the big reasons is? But this only came into effect after you were in the country already.
Right.
Sugar tax.
Ah.
So because of sugar tax, they took sugar out of everything and put sweeteners in.
Oh, yes.
So now most things taste artificial and fake.
That makes sense. Whereas it's the Wild West back home and we don't scrimp on the sugar. I mean, the sugar content in this...
It tastes like lemony a bit, a little bit.
It's like 41 grams per 100 mils.
Yes, I did just say lemony a bit, a little bit.
Maybe because everything smells like lemon. And then I was sad I couldn't get, and if you're Zimbabwean you'll know, they're called things, but I couldn't get them, so I settled for the corn curls, which was a huge favourite of mine as a kid growing up. So basically, they kind of look like Cheetos.
Right, okay.
Or, I can't describe them, it's better that you see them, you might recognise. So you see...
Oh yeah, like what's it?
Like what's it? That's a better way to describe them. But they are just corn, so they're not got loads of flavour or spices to them. They're just corn. I love them. I love them so much. But we are very basic with flavour back home. So it makes sense. Oh my god, that's like my childhood.
I thought Africa would just be like flavour and like punching.
No, that's South Africa. Zimbabweans we're quite gentle about our spices and things like that. And most things don't have a great deal of flavour. That's why like I'm used to having like very watered down cordial and things.
They go a little bit chewy at the end as well.
I know, they're nice, aren't they?
They're nice. They're very nondescript though.
Yeah, they're like cardboard.
I'm still eating them.
Because they're lovely.
But they're not offensive whatsoever.
No.
Are they just lightly salted or something?
Literally, it's like, it is just corn. So it's made in Harare. So yeah, corn, vegetable oil, and salt.
That's where you're from, isn't it?
I was born in Harare, yes. And then I had half of my life in Marandera.
They're alright.
I love them like that. I could sit and eat that whole bag now. No, so good.
Yeah, it is literally salt. It's the flavour in it.
Yeah, we're not big on huge amounts of flavour. We're very simple people. Also because food was always in short supply.
One of them's pretty simple.
Hey. I mean... Okay.
They're tasty.
All of those.
But like, in the same way that a ready salted crisp is tasty.
I get what you're saying. That was kind of why I was hoping to find things which are similar to those, but they come in like a ring. We used to put them on the tips of our fingers, you know how like you guys do with your hula hoops.
Yeah, or Space Raiders. Oh no, I was going to say Space Raiders, but they've got a thing in a minute.
They're Monster Munch. So they're like that, but they're a little bit more spicy. So they've got a little bit of more flavour to them. But
I'd sit and eat a bag of them watching TV.
Right?
Which is why I look the way I do.
Don't be mean to yourself. Anyway, next thing is, it's very similar to popcorn. We call it Maputi. I don't know if you can see that, it's not really focusing. There we go. So that is Maputi. I got the coloured Maputi because my dad reminded me that they do taste like cardboard. Again, we're not very big on flavours.
Why do you keep talking about your booty?
It's Maputi.
My booty.
Maputi.
Maputi.
There we go.
Maputi. Maputi.
So this is like popcorn, but we cook it in a different way, so you can see it looks very different to normal popcorn. Oh, dropping it everywhere. So it's got a very different shape to it. But I love this stuff. My dad thinks it tastes like cardboard. And it kind of does. It's a lot heavier than a normal popcorn, you see? And it's supposed to stick to the inside of your mouth. Do you not like them? It's like cardboard, isn't it?
You know what it is?
What?
It's like sugar puffs.
They are kind of like sugar puffs, actually.
But bigger, and they don't taste very nice.
You don't like the taste? Dad did say you probably wouldn't enjoy them. I love these.
What is it and what's the point? Are they different flavours, the different colours?
No, it's just added sugar. Because they realised that the plain Maputi, which is what normal people went for, were just cardboard. So these are supposed to be the coloured ones with a little bit of sugar on them. But technically I preferred the normal Maputi.
What's the rainbow, are they called rainbow drops or something you get over here that are
I don't know.
smaller than them, multicoloured in a bag? I'm not sure if it's rainbow drops, it's rainbow something.
Millions?
No, they're like them. What, tiny and proper sugary.
I don't know.
They're like, when you bite them they crunch. These are just like...
soggy, almost. It's like cardboard. My dad describes them as cardboard. There's not for everybody, but I loved them as a kid growing up.
Just a shit popcorn.
You're lucky I got the coloured Maputi. I nearly went for the plain Maputi because they're my favourite. Because they have no sugar, no flavouring. It's just like eating cardboard. It's really nice.
Well, what's the point?
Because it fills your belly and it's something to do. I mean, I like them.
It's worse than popcorn for getting jammed in my teeth as well. I can feel it like...
Right, this was the big thing back home with Maputi. See, it says African pride.
I'm alright with that. That's okay, but I wouldn't be proud of those snacks.
I love them. I think they're really great, but you can see you get that like aftertaste of almost like the charcoal taste.
I'm just trying to get this big bit that's jammed in between two teeth right into my gum hole.
Oh dear. Okay. Not fun. But I loved them growing up, so I will demolish those later.
Fully boots.
These are the next things I got. These growing up, it's really hard to describe these. They are called apricots, and I can't focus there. There we go.
Is it apricots or apricots?
Apricots, maybe. But that sounds more German than we would say apricots. See? What? You're taking the neck out of my accent. I do sound more Zimbabwean the more I talk as well. Talking about
when you were showing me these last night when I first got here, your accent was twice as thick as it used to be. Just because the nostalgia obviously brings it out of your brain.
It does, and when I'm with my family, my accent comes out really strong. It's just when I moved over here, I got teased quite a lot by the local British. And so you kind of just blend, you try and blend in, don't you?
I think accents change. The longer you're in any environment, accents do change.
So it's got like a, can you smell it? Oh, it smells so good. It smells like real apricots.
It smells sugary.
Yeah. To me it smells like real apricots, but it's like a hard sweet on the outside. And then it's like soft and white on the inside. And it's really nice. They're really super sugary though. So you might get
I didn't expect it to be that hard.
Yeah, they're super hard. That's like, sugar. You see the white inside? So it's just like pure sugar. And this was the thing as a kid. Like I absolutely used to nail these. But it's because it tastes like a real apricot.
Is the colouring on my fingers from the tackies still?
I think it's from the tackies. No, it's the apricots. I think I remember that as a kid. Yeah, just hard but chewy inside. Sugar.
It's alright.
I mean, my childhood, so I loved it. We didn't get Cadbury's chocolate and like all these fancy things. This is what we used to eat all the time. I love them.
I get why it was a treat.
Super sugary.
When we tried, when the office blokes tried Mexican sweets, I found it quite similar where there was just like, just a flavour that was a little bit off. And that's what these are like, there's just a little
offness about them.
Yeah.
Very high in sugar. I used to bounce off the walls on these.
I'm so finishing it.
I'm proud of you.
It's not bad.
No, we're just different flavours and tastes, isn't it, in the crust?
It's just a little bit weird. And I don't think that dye is ever coming off my fingers.
No, it took ages. I remember as a kid, like my mum getting really annoyed because I get it all over me. Not sold. Did not like many of the snacks. I mean, you didn't mind the corn curls. You'll like the next bit. I've saved the best for last.
Is there any way we can send care packages out to Zimbabwe for the kids?
Don't! We like our food. Don't be disrespectful. It's nice food.
Well, I've got higher hopes for the biltong, is it?
Biltong.
Well, to be fair, I am more of a savoury person than a sweet person anyway.
Yes.
So I would rather eat jerky, which the biltong looks a bit like jerky.
So I tried to get our version of the Freddo.
Is my tongue yellow?
Yeah, it's super stainy.
That's the jaundice.
So I tried to get some Freddos because I explained to you, over here they have Freddos, but it's Cadbury's Freddos. The Freddos we had back home were by a company called Pascal, which is an Australian company. It's like a branch off, a franchise of Cadbury's. But our Freddos had a little joke on the back. They were shaped like a real frog, but I couldn't get any, sadly. So I opted for the next best thing, was another thing we used to enjoy as a kid, which is the Milko bar. And it is white chocolate. It's basically just plain white chocolate, but it has a different content of like sugar and vanilla in it because it's a hot country I come from. You didn't want things melting all the time. Because it's the same with the dark chocolate thing, like most of our stuff.
Proper chocolate melts. And like a lot of the, when you get a cheaper version of a chocolate bar in this country, they don't melt in the same way.
Yeah.
I've thought that since I was a kid.
But it's the same. So this, you can see.
That's like, what they call it, just like gold, are they gold bars?
Yeah, I think gold bars over here. But it is a very different colour to normal white chocolate.
The colour on my fingers still.
But this is the only white chocolate I like. When I first moved over to this country and I bought like a milk bar, I was like, why is it so sweet? This has got less sugar in it. See, it's nicer. It tastes like real chocolate, not like the stuff here, which is just like sugar.
What if it doesn't melt?
No.
Then it's not real chocolate, is it?
Must be. I mean, it's just milk powder mostly. Yeah, sugar, vegetable fat, milk powder, vanilla, and soy something.
Again, it's like, that's probably the nicest out of the lot so far. Tastes like a Milky Bar.
But better than a Milky Bar. The Milky Bars are too sugary here. But that, oh my god, that taste is just right way back home.
So is that Zimbabwean? Or is that?
No, it's Zimbabwean. It's made in Upton Road, Aberdeen and Harare.
That's alright.
Yeah.
I feel a bit better for the kids of Zimbabwe now that they actually get a tasty treat.
We do.
Yeah.
It's nice, isn't it? It's a nice white chocolate. I don't like the white chocolate in the UK. It's too sugary. I'm not fond of it.
It's not mind-blowing.
No, but again, we're not big on mind-blowing stuff. We're kind of simple people. The next thing I got. Now this company apparently has gone bust, but I think the Zimbabwean company still make it. It's called Dampy bubblegum. We have different flavors. So we've got the banana. If it can focus, it keeps focusing on your face.
Why wouldn't the banana flavour be green?
I know. I think this one, it was the cherry, I think it was. And this one was lemon. But you don't have to have the full one. We can choose one flavour and you just have half, because it's quite crumbly. It's an unusual kind of chewing gum. So it kind of just like snaps in half. And like I said, we used to put it back in the freezer after chewing it to give it more flavour, but it's not really like a full-on bubble gum. It's more like a chewy sweet that you can make into chewing gum in your mouth. It's unusual, isn't it? It's not proper chewing gum.
But it fell apart in my mouth.
Yeah.
It's like this isn't even chewing gum.
No.
And the more I chew it, the more it's coming back together.
And that's for ages. And you put it in the freezer and the flavour comes back. And there's always a joke or an interesting fact. So, did you know elephants can run up to 40 kilometres per hour?
Yes. It's alright. I mean, that's just a bubble gum, to be fair. That's pretty similar to the stuff that we have over here, other than the texture when you first start eating it. That's the weird thing.
Yeah, it's so crumbly in it. But that was all the sweets and snacky things I could get from the Zimbabwean shops over here in the UK.
So 1.5 of them were satisfactory.
I still love the Maputi. I mean, I could eat that all night.
It's just, do you like eating cardboard though? Are you one of those people?
I'm not really big on flavour, so back home, I grew up in this for these sort of things, so this was normal.
I didn't grow up with a lot of flavour. There was no spice in my house whatsoever when I was a kid. I didn't eat chilli until I was about 13 years old.
Really?
Didn't eat an Indian curry until I was like probably 10 at least. Things like, you know, like proper flavour, like when you just hit with flavour. Used to eat Chinese food a bit, or not.
Yeah, it's very different to the popcorn I tasted over here. I remember the first time I went to a cinema and I bought popcorn, I was like, this doesn't taste right.
It'd be a fun joke to fill a cinema full of that, so poor kids when they go and try
don't be mean about
watch the Minions movie and they've got a bag of that and they're just looking at the parents going, I hate you. You ruined this for me.
I would demolish those bags when I was a kid. That was the first thing if I got money for the tuck shop. It was Maputi and some Dampy bubblegum.
Fair enough.
Right, so on to the good stuff. So, this is called dry vorse. I got the chili chutney version of it. So it's kind of like jerky, but not quite. So you can see it's just a little meat stick almost. It's not really focusing because it keeps trying to focus on your face. But it's called dry vorse. So it's done obviously in like intestine skins, and it snaps really nicely. But try.
Do you peel the skin or do you eat the skin?
Just eat the skin. It's all part of it.
It smells like brown sauce.
Oh, you think so? Oh, I suppose it does. And that, Kiwis should just walk around with this in their mouth. Just chewing it all the time. It's dead chewy. But I love dry vorse.
It's a lot like jerky.
As I say, the closest match to it is...
Is it dry cured? Don't say it, does it?
No. I'd imagine it is.
Yeah.
It's a South African food, but it was very popular back home in Zimbabwe. Dad always had this.
I prefer jerky. I don't really like the skin on it.
Oh, do you not?
No, I peel a lot of chorizo before I cook it. I don't mind skin on sausages when it's nice, but a lot of the time it's kind of like, it's plasticky.
Fair enough.
Yeah, see that without skin, so much nicer.
Oh, really? I think the skin has the flavour.
You peel the foreskin back. Before you have a nibble.
Oh dear.
That's right, I like it. Like I said, I'm more of a savoury person than a sweet person anyway.
Yeah. The next one is a product called biltong, which is like, again, dried meat, but it's not mashed up dried meat. It's done in full slabs, so they hang it in the barn.
I think you can buy biltong in supermarkets over here. Like the jerky,
it's become more popular.
Jerky's becoming bigger, and biltong that looks like it's got loads of fat in it though.
Oh, it is. It's really, really fatty. The best bit is to get the fattiest bit, so I recommend getting one with the fatty bits. But to try and give you a concept of what it looks like, I mean, it's all stuck together because it was obviously in a vacuum sealed bag. But seriously, right, so that is one piece with some fatty bits. Try it. It's really nice. It's super, super chewy. It was really good on a hot day when you were really thirsty and you needed the salt content. But you'll spend ages chewing it. They're chewy. But the fatty bits are the best bits. So much flavour. My sister and I used to fight over the fat on the biltong because this has come pre-shaved. We used to just get a stick of it. We used to chop it up ourselves or just chew it. But it was really good for increasing your salt content, like on a hot day. But the more you chew it, it's nice, isn't it? I love biltong.
My theory is the reason we grew tall is the abundance of fat in our diet, and I based that on zero science whatsoever. But my bro used to cut all the fat off his bacon as a kid, and I used to eat all the fat off his bacon as well as whatever was on mine. But I've grown an inch or so taller than him, and I think it's the fat off his bacon. That's quite nice. At first, I wasn't keen on eating the fat with it.
But it makes it taste juicier, doesn't it?
It does. Like jerky can be a bit dry, and that fat kind of gives it a little bit of moisture back when you eat it.
But this in general, it's not really a dry, so it's not like jerky at all. It is just dried meat. So it's got a lot more juice and chewiness to it. So you would spend ages chewing. Like we used to always see back when people would just be walking around with a stick half hanging out their mouth.
Jerky's just a dried meat though, isn't it? What's the difference?
I think it's kind of like, because it's jerked.
What do you mean?
Isn't it cooked slightly?
I don't think so. I think it's smoked sometimes.
Oh, right.
I think this is a different cut though. I think this is a much fattier bit of steak that's been used.
I don't know the science behind it. I just know these are fucking tasty.
It's fine. I've started snacking on jerky a bit more rather than carbs. If I'm feeling snacky, I'll eat a bit of jerky. The problem is I'll eat a whole bag of it.
Well, this is dangerous for me. I'm going to eat so much of that.
That's nice. So is that
I like
Zimbabwean?
that it keeps going.
South African.
South African, that is enjoyed by the Zimbabweans.
Yeah.
Well, the reason we all love the biltong is because you keep it in your mouth for ages and chew and chew and chew, and the flavour doesn't go for so long.
I heard a theory once that facial structure's changing because we're not chewing like we used to, and over hundreds of years or thousands of years, because we're eating sort of. Well, we're not chewing in the same sort of way, and there was something to do with your breathing passages being affected because of it. People would have eaten, they would have chewed more.
We spent hours chewing biltong.
I half listened to someone talk about it about 3 years ago, and now I'm trying to regurgitate it as if I know what they were talking about.
But the Zimbabweans and the South Africans who chew the biltong for a while.
It might have been to do with an underbite and an overbite and why things have changed. But I don't know, who knows.
But it's nice, isn't it?
I like that, that's good. Yeah,
I mean, I love it.
I'm absolutely devastated about the next thing you're going to pick up.
I know. Unfortunately, Dave is on some antibiotics, so he can't drink. But it's a South African drink, but it's really popular in Zimbabwe. It's called Castle Lager. So we're going to save them.
About this.
I know, see, it says 100% homegrown as well. It's a South African national beer.
Normally I would drink a bit with antibiotics if I felt the need, but the pharmacist and the dentist both said,
don't drink.
Do not, whatever you do, drink. These are the ones that you'll be sick if you drink.
Yeah, it's not good for your liver. It's not good for your liver as well. So I bought 2 bottles.
Got it.
And we're going to save them for another time. But there is, obviously, I was intending for him to try the local beers. It's a lot more hoppy than some of the stuff here. Like, you smell it instantly. Yeah. It's a shame I can't show you. And then very lastly, this is what we're having for dinner. So this is so popular back home. I always knew it as the cheap man sausage, but it cost a fortune to buy it here. I can tell you.
It is.
It's called boerewors, and it's like a long sausage, and it is beef and pork. You can get it in different flavours. I went for plain, just because to give you the chance.
You like a long sausage, don't you?
Yeah, I do like a long sausage. But yes, boerewors. You wouldn't expect it to, the way it sounds, the way it's spelled. It's B-O-R-E-R-E.
I'll put you off now.
Boerewors.
Okay. I'm trying not to sneeze. That's the only reason I'm not trying to say it.
Look at the light. That mixed up.
I'm alright.
Okay. But yes, so we're going to have some boerewors and mashed potatoes. I was going to do sadza, the South Africans call it pap. We call it sadzo. It's ground up mealie meal, made into it looks like mashed potatoes, like a stiff white ball.
What's mealie meal?
So maize meal, crushed up maize.
Oh, I thought it was a bug or something from it.
No, I did nearly buy, Dave, some mapani worms. So we have a type of tree back home that's called the mapani tree, and it's abundant with life, and you get the little mapani bees, and then you get the mapani worms that become the moths. And they are so juicy, but everywhere I looked online, they only offered the dried mapanis.
Yeah.
And they're not as nice when they're dried. When they're fresh mapani worms, they taste yummy. But then I also thought that was dead mean, because you aren't really...
I'll pass.
I'll
pass. I'm good.
We had loads of bugs that we ate back home. They were really nice. But yes, we're gonna have the boerewors for dinner with some mashed potato, because I couldn't get any mealie meal.
That's fine. We will cut to us in a minute, sat at the dinner table, eating this, and give you I'll give you my verdict, because you obviously love it.
I love it. I absolutely love boerewors. It is so yummy.
We are back, and what are we doing now, Ash?
We're eating the boerewors for dinner. So obviously we've got some mash with some onion gravy, beef onion gravy, and some broccoli.
Is it going to still recording? My battery, we're alright for a second. I've been practically asleep on the couch.
I know, give it a go. It's good meat, isn't it?
What's the flavour? There's almost like a gaminess.
I couldn't say. I think it's I noticed a difference in the meat in this country. I think it's down to the way the animals are fed. Like back home, they're generally wild, they're grass fed. Whereas here, because of the limited space of land, they're grain fed, so it's a bit more fatty.
It's nice. Got loads of flavour.
It's really good, isn't it? And this is beef and pork.
Beef and pork. Well, beef.
But I love boerewors.
It's nice. So we'll sign off the video there, because I'm hungry and was practically asleep. But I hope you enjoyed that one, guys. Cheers. I hope you can actually see us on... I've not got the camera too close to our faces.
No, absolutely.
And we will catch you on the next one. Cheers, guys.